World Press Freedom Day is commemorated under the theme Journalism Under Digital Siege to highlight the spread of disinformation and misinformation, the struggle to maintain professionalism and credibility as journalists face threats, attacks and restrictive laws in the execution of their duties globally. Commemorating this day, we speak to Zoe Titus, Director of the Namibia Trust NMT, on the press freedom situation in Namibia. Good afternoon, Ms. Zoe. Good afternoon, Ms. Zoe.
Silent.
Good to have you with us. We're talking Press Freedom Day. Namibia's ranking has moved up from 24 to 18, overtaken by Seychelles. We've lost our first position in Africa. What do you think has impacted that ranking?
Okay, I'm not keen on indices, but they do present a helpful benchmark in terms of analysis in relation to international standards. But context too is important. So yes, you're absolutely right. We've moved up in international rankings from 24 to 18. But I honestly think that this is the result of bigger, older democracies just doing so poorly. Democracy is becoming more and more divided. And there is a spread of disinformation networks that are amplified by way of social media networks. We find that open societies and despotic regimes, they control their media and online platforms, and that is weakening those democracies in general. So yes, there is a global decline in general, but secondly, we have also been overtaken by the Seychelles, and quite honestly, I really can't explain why the Seychelles would have surpassed Namibia. I'm personally not aware of any spectacular development that can account for their leap from, let's say, number 52 last year to 13 globally. I mean, there has been a slow, gradual improvement, but this is a major, major leap.
Yeah.
But again, they do outshine us on all the indicators. The indicators are political, social, economic, and legislative. So all that I can recall is that the Seychelles was literally cut off from the rest of the world during COVID-19. But it's only RSF and its researchers that can provide insights on this.
Okay, Ms. Zoe, can you just quickly critique then the press freedom scenario in Namibia, according to you?
Well, one of the potential reasons for us, for example, and if you do that critique, then you must also consider that it is linked to the rankings. So the ball is really in our court, and it's very clear that we must do better. One thing that should be done, and soon, is to improve our overall legal environment to support a thriving media ecosystem, and that is in terms of those factors that I mentioned before, the legal, etc., etc. So, as a matter of urgency, we need to promulgate legislation that supports the work of the media and free expression and access to information for all citizens. Our access to information law has been in place since 1998, and we still don't have it in place. The Whistleblower and Witness Protection Acts were passed in 2017, but are still not operational. So then how does our government display political will to root out corruption? We have to, as a matter of urgency, pass cybersecurity and data protection legislation, but from a sound human rights-based approach, not legislation that open up citizens, journalists, and particularly their sources to what one would call undue surveillance and further restrictions.
Yeah. And as far as the access to information bill that you just briefly touched on, where is that bill right now?
Well, the we've worked alongside MICT since 2016 to develop this draft bill using the African Union model law as a reference. That bill was tabled in the National Assembly in 2020 and was then referred to the Standing Committee on ICTs. I expect that they have concluded their process, and it is now going through, the long process of being prepared again for resubmission to National Assembly.
Okay. Zoe Titus, Director of the Namibia Media Trust, conversating on press freedom in Namibia and global. We appreciate your time with us.